you have been scrolling listings and falling in love with St. Augustine's cobblestones and coastline, this video is for you, because what you might not know is you can have a completely different lifestyle just one street over from the next. Today, I am pulling up a live map and breaking down how each pocket of St. Augustine actually lives day to day. Things like commute, beach access, HOA, flood insurance considerations, older versus newer, and where your budget tends to stretch further. By the end, you'll know exactly which areas match your lifestyle and budget. I'm Amy Howell, owner of O.N.E Florida Group. Our team has helped countless families relocate to St. Augustine with confidence. Let's hop into the map. All right, so today we are going to focus on basically the heart of St. Augustine. St. Augustine is actually really large. I'm all the way in World Golf Village, which seems a little bit far from where the map is pointed out right here, but my address is still St. Augustine. So, and we're gonna type in right here, St. Augustine, Florida, and you'll be able to see what is technically considered St. Augustine and what everyone pictures and envisions when they think about St. Augustine. So we're gonna point out here, US 1 is basically going to be our dividing factor or our spine here when we're looking at this area of St. Augustine. And we're gonna use this as when I speak of east and west of US 1. So let's zoom in a little bit here to kind of the core, the downtown area, the historic district, and the touristy area that everyone has come to know and love. So I'm gonna take my little guy here and let's just drop him. You know what? Here, we'll start here. All right, there is the Bridge of Lions. Everyone knows and loves this bridge. Very famous area of downtown St. Augustine. All the cobblestones and all the touristy areas, are going to be down here. And obviously this specific area is going to provide a completely different lifestyle than others. So now let's zoom out and get our bearings a bit on some of the other areas that might not be as well known. So as mentioned, this is our spine. If we are east of US 1, you're gonna have all your beach vibes, right? You've got Volano Beach, you've got Anastasia Island, you've got St. Augustine Beach, Crescent Beach. Fantastic beach living all along this area, which is also going to be more pricey, right? Higher demand. Things to watch out for in these areas is going to be your short-term rental rules and obviously higher insurance, flood risk, wind mitigation, all of those things you're going to find in these particular areas. More islandy lifestyle. Then just west of US 1, when we're looking at the heart and the core of St. Augustine, just west is going to give you more inland conveniences. So you're going to have more driveways, larger yards, conveniences as far as shoppings and things are concerned. You're not going to have as many parking issues as you would kind of on the east side of US 1 in more of the touristy areas. You might have some older homes as well in these areas. So let's look at broader range where everything is. If you are in any of these areas here, you are just about 45-ish minutes up to Jacksonville. So if you are getting a job, relo, and you want to be in St. Augustine, you can assume you're going to have about a 45-minute drive to Jacksonville, wherever it is that you might be working there. And then it's 30 minutes to Palm Coast. There's lots of beautiful things to do down in Palm Coast, or maybe you have relatives that have retired in Palm Coast and you want to be in the St. Augustine scene. You're really only 30-ish minutes away, depending on where in Palm Coast and where in St. Augustine, obviously. So now that you have seen the big picture here on how St. Augustine is laid out, let's get a little closer and deeper here. West St. Augustine. So we've got lower entry prices here versus beachside. Obviously, you're going to pay for those views if you're on Volano, Anastasia, and of course, anywhere along here, you're going to pay for those water views. On this side here, on the west side, it's not going to be as pricey, but what else are you getting? You are getting, besides lower entry pricing, you have better access to US 1. As far as travel is concerned, your travel is going to be easier. You're not going over any bridges here. Like if you're on Anastasia Island, the bridge seems to be a bit of a hurdle sometimes for anyone that's living here and has to travel this way for work, for school, what have you. There can be delays here. Obviously, if they open the bridge and somebody's coming through, that's going to be a delay just the same way as you would if you lived along train tracks and had to deal with trains going through and causing those kind of delays. So think about, your travel here that you're having to go through. You're going to have easier travel on this side, on the west side, than you would being over here. So then you've also got ease of shops, ease of getting to shops. Very, very convenient when you're right around here to get to all these shops. Right here, you've got a gun store, thrift store. If you're not familiar with Alpha Omega, they are an amazing organization. Locally, we donate to them all the time. We shop the thrift store as well. Shopping center is also Manatee Cafe. I absolutely love Manatee Cafe. It is delicious, delicious health food, and I love it. You've also got your country club right here. If golf is your thing, you can go ahead and do that. But if you look along here, there's tons of shops and convenience items all at your footsteps if you are living on the west side of US 1 here. So all of that is all right here if you're living anywhere along this area. So very, very convenient there. So what type of buyer would you be if you wanted to purchase in this area? Somebody that's definitely looking for something more budget friendly, but still want to be close to the heart of St. Augustine. Somebody that wants a little bit more space, ease of parking, but is not afraid of any renovations. Somebody that might like a DIY or does not worry about, having to bring somebody in to paint or remodel a bathroom or something of that nature. So that's probably what you're going to see in this area. A little bit older homes that might need some renovations. Now, if we're looking a little bit more south, we were just looking west, but now if we go southwest and southeast of US 1, anything kind of along the West King Street Road, headed towards that Bridge Alliance. So anything in this general vicinity, obviously the historic core here that's going to be by the plaza. You've got dining, festivals. You're also going to deal with massive amounts of tourist traffic and, driving issues, commute issues. But what are you going to get in this area and this area around here? Anything along the West King Street here, you're going to get a mix of houses. You're going to get vintage cottage homes. You're going to get all of the fun, that nightlife, right? And daytime lifestyle that St. Augustine offers as far as parades, art walks, concerts, the best food and coffees and drinks that you can get. All of that's going to be there. What should you expect if you purchase a home in this area? Obviously, around here is going to be quite expensive. You're talking about older vintage homes, historic homes, late 1800, early 1900 homes that are probably going to need some remodeling as well. So expect, project planning, permitting, just because of the historic factor. But you're going to get walkability, and that is not something you can get in a lot of St. Augustine as a whole. So if you want downtown energy, lifestyle, and you're not afraid of older homes or parking issues, you want that walkability, this is going to be your friend here, a little bit over here as well. All right, so now we're going to zoom out a little bit and go further north. So again, I'm going to pull this up so you can see technically what is considered St. Augustine, even though everybody outside of this little red line also still has a St. Augustine address. This is the area we're talking about when we're talking about north. So right here in this general vicinity. So when you are north of of the downtown, like the core of St. Augustine, what are you getting? You are now closer to World Golf Village area. You're going to be closer to all things, easier to hop on to 95. As far as your commute times are concerned, you're going to have a shorter commute to things like Jacksonville, the airports, and all the shopping here. So World Golf Village does encompass, you know, the Costco, Buc-ee's, all of that shopping. It's getting a Walmart over there as well. And then just even further north of that, you've got Palencia. So you're by all the shops of Palencia. Say you are an avid golfer and you want to go ahead and join the club there, you can do that as well. Obviously, Saltwaters is right here. Also, if you're living north St. Augustine, you're most likely going to be going over here to Volano Beach. It's going to be a lot closer to you, very, very close to hanging out in Volano Beach, potentially shopping at this Publix if you want the beautiful view. Probably a little bit of a crowded Publix. I know we've been in there a few times. Parking lot's always a little bit full. You're going to be dealing with a lot of tourists and things of that nature should you choose that Publix. But, you know, there's a Publix on every single corner around here, so you don't necessarily have to shop at that one. If you are closer to Volano, or even say on Volano, you're going to have higher prices, you know, living that Volano lifestyle there. So being that we talked about the core, this is, you know, the area that most people envision when they think about living in St. Augustine or moving to St. Augustine or visiting St. Augustine. But when it comes to visiting and when it comes to living here, those are two different things. And I want to talk about the most sought after areas that maybe the tourists aren't considering when they're visiting, the areas that maybe they don't go. But these are the areas that when people are moving here, these are the areas that they look for most often. And that would be, we'll start with Volano Beach. So technically, Volano Beach is not in the core of St. Augustine. It's Volano. And while it is very, very, very close, you get oceanfront lifestyle. It's really popular for second home buyers or retirees that want walkability to the water. Over here, you're going to get that surf, fish, laid back, sunrise, surf checks, the whole beach vibe that you would expect if you're living on an island as such. Very laid back, very beach friendly, much higher cost of living over there. Then, as I briefly mentioned, the other very sought after areas, we've got St. Augustine right here, not very far away, Palencia and World Golf Village. So those are your large master plan communities that you're going to be getting there, which is a completely different lifestyle than, you know, living in the historic area. So you have everything that a large master plan encompasses. We've got some gated here. We've also got some gated there if you're looking for that sort of thing. Very vast when it comes to pricing in Palencia. There's condos in there. Same thing with World Golf Village. You can find condos for very cheap in both of these areas. They do have association fees, so you want to make sure that you're looking out for that sort of thing. When it comes to pricing and fees and understanding all of that, please don't try to figure it out yourself. We have a mortgage lender inside our home search app. Definitely download it here. And inside there, you can ask our mortgage lender any and every question. And on top of that, just reach out directly inside the chat in our app and we can get all your questions answered when it comes to pricing. We want to make sure that there are no surprises on prices. So those two areas in particular definitely attract families looking for great schools and community. Palencia is going to be more high-end, marsh views, closer to the beach, and World Golf Village provides more suburban and much closer to your everyday shopping needs here. Then we're going to move a little bit south here and go down to St. Augustine Shores. So you can see St. Augustine is right up here, the heart of it all. It's not very far down US 1 to get to the shores. So St. Augustine Shores is definitely more affordable than your beach lifestyle over here. It's usually a draw for retirees looking for value. You've got established trees in here and closer to the shops. shops, much, much closer. You've got your Publix right here, your golf course right here, you know, lots of convenience, but still not far from the beach. You've got Crescent right here, just a hop over, and then downtown right up here. So you're not far, but you're paying much less, and you still have a much different lifestyle. And then lastly, St. Augustine Beach. So we've got island lifestyle happening over here. You're still in St. Augustine, but this is going to be a much different lifestyle here. Flip-flops every day, or slippers, or slip-ups if you're from Hawaii. That's going to be the type of lifestyle here, island lifestyle. You are on an island. It's beautiful, beautiful way of life, beautiful beaches that you are surrounded by. Anastasia Beach, St. Augustine Beach, and Crescent Beach all right here. So you could just beach all day long, every day. Real estate values in all of these neighborhoods are strong. The ones that people are more or less purchasing in outside of the core of St. Augustine, where you're close enough in proximity, but just having a different type of lifestyle. In the end, if you are relocating, these are the communities that deliver the lifestyle, but also long-term investment and security. So before you decide where you want to move, there's one more big factor to consider. So what you see as a tourist versus what you're actually getting living here full time. And that is that most visitors are just seeing this downtown lifestyle, the cobblestone streets and the bustling cities and all the things to do. But your environment definitely shifts by just skipping one street over as far as what your lifestyle is going to look like, the type of homes that are going to be in here versus the lifestyle that tourists are seeing over here. So downtown's giving you that walkability and that culture, but you're also getting parking headaches and higher housing costs. But then zooming out, you've got Palencia and World Golf Village that are giving you a much different lifestyle. You're getting larger lots, less parking stress, resort style amenities, but less culture and less walkability. You're not getting walkability there, especially to any events. If it is possible at all, try not to rely on a weekend trip to decide where you want to live, because these touristy areas are not going to show you the realities of day-to-day living here. I've helped people move out of the first place that they purchased when they moved here because they didn't end up liking it, and they didn't do enough research, and they didn't have the right realtor guiding them and telling them the honest feedback and the honest realities of living in some of these areas here and what it really, really is like. So take your time looking. Talk to an honest realtor and real estate team that are going to give you reality versus sales. And you just need to see beyond the vacation image that you see in a lot of these videos and choose a neighborhood that balances out your lifestyle and your long-term investment. St. Augustine is an incredible place to live, but not every neighborhood delivers the Florida lifestyle that you might be dreaming about. If you move into the wrong pocket, you could face daily frustrations, commutes, and parking struggles, and long-term regret about your investment. Again, I'm Amy Howell, your favorite realtor here in Northeast Florida. Our team has helped countless families relocate to St. Augustine with confidence, and we would love to help you do the same. If you're thinking about moving here, reach out. We'll walk you through the neighborhoods, share what it's really like on the ground, and make sure you land in the right spot for your lifestyle. I'll see you in the next video.